Hey, how's it? Peoi, and welcome to another episode of the Cool Project Podcast. Now, today we're going to explore tips and tricks on how to navigate life challenges with grace and aloha. So, again, I'm your host, Daniel Aipa, and today we're going to dive into the art of maintaining our inner peace when we face disrespect. I feel like we've all been in this situation before where we feel disrespected, and it can be quite challenging, but it's okay. Today, we're going to uncover some simple yet powerful ways to maintain your calm amidst the storm and help you keep it cool. Sounds good? Shoots. First up is let's talk about the physiological aspect, all right? When we feel disrespected, our bodies often react in a way that triggers stress. This includes an increase in heart rate, shallow breathing, and a heightened tension. We can feel it in our bodies, right? Our whole body just begins to contract. So mindful breathing involves consciously paying attention to your breath. Deep, slow breaths activate the body's relaxation response, countering the stress-induced physiological changes that happen within our bodies that we can totally feel. So let's try that right now, okay? Whether you're feeling disrespected or not, let's just try and reconnect with our breath as we continue on with this podcast. So together, let's take a deep inhale, hold it for a moment, and then exhale slowly through your mouth. And this simple act helps regulate your body's stress response, bringing you back to a state of feeling malie, calm, right? Keeping it cool. So here's a simple way to practice this. What you can do is find a quiet space. You can inhale deeply through your nose, expanding your diaphragm. Now the key thing is into your diaphragm, right? You don't want to be breathing into our chest. When we breathe into our chest, we create more tension within our shoulders and our neck, and that is not going to help us with relaxing. Because if you think about how we feel when we are feeling really stressed out, right? We breathe quickly and we breathe all in our chest, and our shoulders begin to rise up and our necks begin to tension up. So that's why it's important to breathe into your diaphragm, breathe towards your pico, okay? Then you're going to hold your breath for a moment when you breathe it in. Then you're going to exhale slowly, completely through your mouth. Now, what I like to do is repeat this process for about 3 minutes. And it's focusing on each breath and allowing your body to relax with each exhale. So every time you exhale, you go deeper and deeper into relaxation. Another practice that I came across that can help out with this is that you can try this breathing technique called the physiological sigh. And it's where you do a double inhale through your nose followed by a long exhale. Now, the first inhale is a long inhale. So you're going to fill up your diaphragm as much as possible. Then stop and inhale one more time quickly to fill up the rest of your lungs. And then you end it with a long exhale out the mouth. You can perform this 2 to 3 times to immediately bring yourself to a more relaxed state, feeling calmer, feeling cool again. I've used this physiological sigh when I'm in situations where I feel very triggered. Say like you're in traffic and a car cuts you off and you feel this tension coming over you. I just do these 2 to 3 breaths, physiological sigh breaths. Inhale once, inhale again, and then exhale. And immediately I just kind of get back into my present moment and realize that it's not necessary. Remember, mindful breathing not only calms the nervous system, but also shifts our focus away from the negative emotions, helping us regain control over our emotional state. Now let's understand what's happening in our bodies. Again, there's many things that happen in our bodies, such as the increased heart rate, the increased blood pressure, the stress response. And when we perceive being disrespected, our brains can activate the fight or flight response. This releases stress hormones like cortisol, which can affect our mood and our overall well-being. Tip number 2 is grounding techniques. To counteract this, we try our grounding techniques. Remember, the meaning of ku simply means to stand tall, be grounded, and to exist. So this is perfect for feeling cool again, is grounding yourself. Now, the best way to do this is to feel your feet on the ground, or touch an object nearby, or simply focus on the sensation in your body. Grounding techniques help us anchor us in the present moment, preventing our mind from getting lost in the negative thoughts. And we all can relate to this. When we start having these negative thoughts going in our mind and all these feelings, we go into this big spiral, right? We go as if we're getting deeper and deeper into the hole. But the grounding techniques allows us to bring us back to that present moment. So when we feel disrespected, these techniques bring your attention back to the surroundings, creating more sense of stability, helping you feel, again, cool. Now, here are a few ideas on how to practice this. Okay, there's a couple of them that I want to share with you. As I mentioned before, feel your feet on the ground. Wiggle your toes. Notice the connection with the ground beneath you. You can be anywhere. You can be outside. You can be inside. Just make sure you get some kind of sensation on your feet, because everything starts from the ground up. Next, you can also just touch an object around. For me, right now, by me is a coffee cup. So if I feel the coffee cup, you're just kind of feeling the coffee cup, and you're just gonna be realizing the texture, the temperature. Is it hot? Is it heavy? Is it light? That allows us to zone in on the moment we're in right now. Next is focus on your breath. We've already covered this, right? Feeling the sensation of inhaling and exhaling is probably the most powerful things that we can do. It connects us back to our breath, and it grounds us. The last one is use the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. We're going to identify and name 5 things you see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, and 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. All right, again, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method is going to identify and name 5 things you see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. So grounding techniques provide you a quick way to shift your attention away from distressing thoughts and emotions and promoting a more sense of stability and control again. Because oftentimes when we feel disrespected, we feel like we are not in control anymore. So following these techniques help us bring control back into our emotional state. Now, it's very important to note that maintaining inner peace is not about suppressing our emotions, but rather understanding and responding to them in a much healthier way. This leads to tip number 3, choose your battles. Not every situation requires a reaction. Choosing your battles wisely means assessing whether engaging in a conflict is worth the emotional toll it may take on you. Okay, I'm sure we can all agree on that. When we actually choose to react and give a response back, it drains us. It drains our mana, it drains our energy. We feel exhausted after. Sometimes the best way to maintain our inner peace is to choose our battles wisely. Ask yourself if the situation is worth the emotional toll. Is it worth our mana? Is it worth our aloha to lose? And consider stepping back when needed. So here are ways that we can practice this. Pause before reacting. And I know that can be a hard time. I often have a hard time with that, and I'm still working on doing that myself. It's taking a while for me to understand that I need to pause, take a deep breath, ground myself again before doing any type of reaction. We have to give ourselves a moment to assess the situation, to bring more self-awareness to where we are at, and not control on others that we have no control over. So next, we have to also consider the long-term consequences of engaging in a conflict. What are the consequences of me engaging in this conflict? Is it gonna take away from things that actually matter to me in the present moment? How am I gonna navigate this whole situation appropriately that is not gonna take away from the things that matter to me, the things that I wanna be making sure I'm giving my energy to? Okay, and this takes practice now, okay? Lastly, you gotta ask yourself if the issue at hand aligns with your values and is worth investing your energy and emotions. We really have to be mindful of our energy is very expensive, right? Energy is like currency. It's just, there's always a transaction happening. When we give our energy, there's always gonna be some kind of taking or returning of some sort. So be mindful of that transaction that we're doing. We always talk about mana. I'm always focusing on how am I building my mana. One of my teachers taught me about being mindful of your mana account, right? Beginning the day, we're at a certain level of mana. As the day goes on, we can either build more mana or we can lose our mana. And it all depends on our choices, our behaviors, and what we decide to interact with and who do we decide to interact with. So choosing our battles allows us to conserve our emotional energy, our mana, for situations that truly matter, fostering a more peaceful and balanced state of mind. It's a very helpful strategic approach to maintaining our inner peace in the face of disrespect. Well, that's all for today. I know we covered a lot, so feel free to rewind back to certain tips that you want to review over. Or if you're feeling a little bit of tense now, or you want to make sure you remember this one, try the physiological sigh. That has been a game changer for me in moments where I need a quick change in my emotional state to be more calm. Especially if I feel more anxious or have a high level of anxiety happening if I'm doing something or something happens to me. That physiological sigh has been a game changer for me. Now, achieving inner peace in the face of disrespect is going to be an ongoing practice that requires consistency, self-compassion, and adaptability. So we must embrace imperfections and setbacks as opportunities for growth, learning, and increased emotional resilience. Treat ourselves with kindness, aloha, and understanding, recognizing that progress is a journey, not a destination. And staying mindful by incorporating mindfulness practices in our daily life to help cultivate resilience to bounce back from challenges that we come across every day. Lastly, celebrate the small victories along the way, acknowledging that the pursuit of inner peace is a unique and worthwhile journey, and it's going to take time. It's going to challenge you, but you deserve the tranquility you seek, to feel calm, to feel at peace, to stand cool. It's within your power to foster it. Mahalo for tuning in, and if you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to subscribe, and if you haven't already, please leave us a review over at the Cool Project Podcast. We greatly appreciate it. And that's it. That's Pauka Papa, Aloha, and Ahui Ho. Keep it cool.